Okay, so number 12, a tape measure is one of the most important tools that any craftsman will use. Understanding how to read a tape measure can save you valuable time. Not all tape measures are the same, but most have similar markings, like the 16-inch marking is very common. Why is the tape marked off every 16 inches? A, because it allows room for your hand to hold the tape to mark off 12 inches. B, 16 inches is 1 foot in the UK. C, standard US construction practice separates wall studs by 16 inches, or because it divides equally by 2. The answer to this is standard US construction practice separates wall studs by 16 inches. So to utilize a tape measure for proper spacing, that's why there is a mark on a tape measure every 16 inches. All right, so next we got number 13. All right, so being a sole proprietor business leaves your personal assets liable even if you have insurance. Absolutely. If you have insurance, that's just a baseline. They can go after your house, they can go after anything you own, anything your name is on, they can go off after. They can sue you separately from your insurance. So the answer for that is true. Number 14, a COI means Certificate of Insurance, typically given in proof of general liability insurance. What does this type of insurance cover? We talked about this, or I mentioned this earlier. So this covers A, customers' loss from damage to property caused by business or workers. B, theft, loss to cover the customer's assets. C, work truck in case of accident during working hours. So this general liability will cover your customer's loss from damage to property caused by business or workers. All right, so here we go. Next one. What saw is typically used to cut moldings? A, skill saw, B, a hacksaw, or C, a sawzall, or D, a miter saw. Okay, so do I need to even go into this one? To cut moldings, typically, yeah, you could use all of them, but isn't like being a professional, having and using the proper tool for every job, isn't that kind of why your customer isn't doing the job? So the right answer should be D, miter saw. All right, we're at 15. We're at the halfway mark. Safety glasses and gloves are A, required, B, recommended, C, not necessary if you have skill, or D, a waste of time. It's not required. It is recommended. You are your own boss. You are your own safety manager. You decide if you want to wear safety glasses or not. I do sometimes. Sometimes I don't. I make that decision. I also suffer the consequences if it's a poor decision. So that's up to you. All right, moving on to the next one now. All right, so we are trying to turn the page over. Okay. All right, so the next one. All right, question number 17. If a handyman only charges by the hour, the contractor laws don't apply. Okay, so if you read the contractor laws, it clearly states that you cannot avoid contractor laws simply by charging by the hour. So you can't utilize that with the intent to bypass the laws. So the answer for this question is A. Charges by the hour, laws don't apply. So the answer is B, false. You cannot just charge by the hour thinking that you're going to avoid contractor laws. Okay, 18 out of 30. Here we go. We've got word of mouth business is the most important. I would say absolutely 100% true. you're going to get business with advertising. You're going to pay for advertising in the beginning. But ultimately, word of mouth, being a good handyman, doing good, ethical, responsible, reliable work is what's going to get you more customers. So the best, advertising is word of mouth. Answer is true. Next question. Can a handyman do electrical work? A, depends on the state and city the job is in. B, yes. C, no. D, only if you have done it before. All right, so the answer to this is it depends on the state and city the job is in. It's like easy to say yes because are they going to know, things like that. But the official legal answer is you need to check what what your state says that handyman is allowed to perform, what work, and if they're allowed to do any type of electrical. Typically, you're allowed to do work inside the home from the panel throughout the house. You're allowed to, but you're not allowed to do anything from the panel out. That would be typical, but the answer in this case is A, depends on the state and city the job is in. Okay, so the next one. When painting water-based paint over oil-based paint, you should first blank to avoid paint peeling off in the future. A, sand and prime the surface. B, just make sure surface is clean. C, scrape off all previous paint. And D, you should never paint over oil-based paint. Okay, so a lot of times we, run into, an older house has been painted with oil-based paint, and there's, there's nothing we can do about it. We're not going to strip the entire house. So it is recommended to sand and prime the surface with a proper primer before you paint water base over the oil base. A lot of states have outlawed large quantities of oil-based paint, so you don't really have the option to paint their whole house again in oil base, but you do need to do the proper steps to make sure that it adheres to the paint below it. And a good primer, sanding and primer will achieve that for you. All right, so next one is, here we go. We are getting there. All right. What is an easy way to determine if a painted surface is water or oil-based paint? Okay, so this is a little trick that not a lot of people know, but it's very easy to do. Do you just spit shine it? If it's shiny, it's oil-based? No. All right, so the answers here are A, wipe with a rag, and if it's shiny, how funny, then it's oil-based paint. B, paint it with water-based, and if it peels off, then it was oil-based paint. C, if it looks yellowish, then it must be oil-based paint. Okay, so the answer is D, wipe with goof off on a rag. If it comes off on the rag, it's water-based paint. If it just shines up, it's oil-based paint. That's so easy to get a little can of goof off in a rag, wipe the surface. You're either going to shine their paint or a little bit of paint's going to come off on the rag. That is going to tell you 100% if it is oil-based or water-based paint. The correct answer is D. Question number 22. GFCI stands for A, great for circuit interruption. B, general foundation circuit intercept. C, ground fault circuit interrupter. Or D, none of the above. GFCI stands for ground fault circuit interrupter. All right, so next question. A GFCI outlet, also referred to as a GFI outlet, is typically required how far from the water source? A, in any room with a water source regardless of distance. B, within 10 feet. C, only required outdoors. Or D, within 6 feet. The answer is actually anywhere within 6 feet, you're required to have a GFI outlet. If it's near a bathtub or a sink or something like that, and maybe that has to do with cord lengths, so that you're not plugging your appliance in and dropping it in the, I don't know. So anyway, so now we are looking for the next one. That was 23. All right, 24. All right. One of the most common issues in the home is a garbage disposal not working. What is the first thing you should check before replacing a garbage disposal? A, if it's a good brand and powerful enough to bother. B, put a tool in the garbage disposal and flip the switch on to free it up. Maybe it's stuck. C, check the reset button. Or D, none of the above. Most garbage disposals have a reset button. You push the reset button on the garbage disposal 90% of the time. That will work. If it is jammed and you are hearing a buzzing, you would put a tool in there. However, you won't be flipping the switch on. You would just be, turning the disposal to get it free before and make sure that your switch is not on. But the answer in this situation is C, check the reset button. Next question. Priming a surface prior to painting helps with what? A, being able to charge more because it takes longer. B, makes the paint thicker. C, seals stains and better adhesion for the paint. Or D, you shouldn't prime the surface prior to painting. The answer should be pretty clear to you. C, it seals stains and better adhesion for paint. Number 26. How do you clear the tip of a spray can for storage? So I don't know. Maybe someone doesn't know this. A, spray it until it stops. Just use all of it. B, place a small needle in the hole to clean it out. I've actually seen guys do this. Of course, they've done it after the fact, after they've let it completely dry out, because cleaning it while it's wet isn't really going to work, right? C, remove the tip and place in turpentine. Yeah, that might work. That would be, I would imagine, like old school, maybe. I don't know that we really have turpentine on the job much anymore, but the answer would be D, and that would be turn can upside down and spray it until it stops. So when you turn a paint can upside down, it has a way of clearing the tip. Only air comes out. When the paint stops and it's just air, you've cleared the tip and you're done and ready to go for the next time. Next question. Here we go. To free up a sticky lock or squeaky hinge, there are several options and products you can use. What might be the best option for longer success and less dust buildup? A, just replace them. It's a waste of your time. B, 10W30 oil. C, standard WD-40. Or D, dry lube graphite spray. Okay, so 1030 oil would be something you would put in your car. You're not going to replace locks every time they're squeaky or whatever, or hinges. You're not going to pass that through your customer. Standard WD-40, it's kind of been the go-to for years, and they have newer options out now. But the word here is standard. They were, typically known for just causing a dust buildup and having to be done more rapidly. So the answer here is D, dry lube graphite spray. You can find that in a WD-40 brand, but you're just going to look for something that's more of a dry lube or a graphite, because they tend to not collect dust. All right, so we only have a few more. All right, so 3 more. All right, how many square feet in a square yard? How many square feet in a square yard? Okay, so we already know that a yard is 3 feet. And if we square that, 3 times 3, all right, so there we go. So A, 10, B, 3, C, 9, or D, 12. So the answer, 3 feet in a yard times 3, the answer is C, 9. There are 9 feet in a square yard, 9 square feet in a square yard. Okey doke. Oh, I'm like, oh. All right. All right. Some carpet is sold by the yard. If you figured your room by square feet, how do you convert the square feet into yards? How do you convert square feet into yards? What do you think? Okay, so the answer, or the options are A, divide by 9, B, multiply by 9, or what is it? C, multiply by 3, or D, divide by 3. So the answer is divide by 9. So the answer to that question, some carpet is sold by the yard. If you figure your room by square feet, how do you convert the square feet into yards? You're going to divide by 9. All right. And the very last question is, sorry, I'm like, got my papers and, all right. So the last question is number 30 of 30 is, if you aren't comfortable with parts of your project or want to lower your risk, is it legal for you to hire a licensed contractor to perform tasks on your project? Example, items that require permits or electrical and plumbing you might not be comfortable with. All right, so I've done videos and I've talked about like lowering your risk by managing and pushing off some of the things that you're not comfortable with doing. So I have promoted this. Now I make more money doing that than actually physically doing the work over the years. So so the answer would be A, no licensed contractor must be hired by the homeowner. B, no, it's best to just let them do the whole project then. C, yes, it is legal, but you should inform the customer of your relationship with them and what parts of the job they will be doing and why. And D, forget that. Look on YouTube and figure it out for yourself. The answer is C, yes, it is legal, but you should inform your customer of your relationship with the contractor, what parts of the job that they're doing and why. Be honest, be straightforward. Your customer will appreciate it, and they will understand. You should manage the job, and I always recommend, adding anywhere from 10, 15 to 20% on top of what the contractor charges, so you're making money on that part of the project as well. So that's the exam. So hope you got something from this video, and I look forward to certifying you and having you becoming a part of the United Handyman Association, your national association of handyman handyman professionals. Anyway, yeah, all right, this is Flash. Happy home repairs. Take care.